On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the shop and there are too many projects in this shop. We've got the Yugo, which is in the middle of coming back to life, right? We got it running pretty well in the last video, but it still has a long way to go. We've got the MR2, which decided to have a disastrous first drive, and it's pretty much stuck right there. We've got the Camaro, and the update that's coming on that is horrific. You guys might see there's a full Exxon Valdez underneath it. So that's a really big problem. And we've got the Mercedes, which has no fuel. So we got a lot of things to fix. And today we're gonna try to knock out one of them. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we're trying to get some things fixed here on the garage. And the Yugo has one of the smallest to-do lists right now. Its to-do list is flush out the fuel tank and get the clutch freed up and clean the carb so it can drive. After that, I think this car is back on the road. So today, we're gonna knock out one of the biggest things on the Yugo, which was getting the fuel tank emptied out. Now, if you take a look at this, it looks like dirty transmission fluid or diff fluid, but that is the gas, I'm not kidding you, the gas coming out of the gas tank. And that's even through the filter. So what I've done is I've taken my little click-clack pump and I've put it down there underneath the spark plug wires. You can see the pumps down there. So now if I take this little gator clip, put the gator clip on the wire to the pump just like so, I think we can put that on the starter. There it goes. Stay, come on, come on. I believe in you. There it goes. Ah. And now we are pumping the fuel out of the tank. Let's go. I didn't think this would take too long. You can hear the pump's already kind of starving. It's still pumping plenty of fuel out of here, but the fuel over here already looks much, much more light brown than the junk we had before. So the fuel line was the nastiest part of this. I'm gonna dump some more fresh fuel in the tank and we'll keep sucking it through there. But look at that, that's starting to look like it's reasonable and maybe ready to be burned. Well, I managed to spill a bunch of gas on my shoe, so that's gonna need to go in the washer or smell permanently. But up here, let's see if we've made a difference. Doesn't look like we're really even getting fuel anymore. I wonder if the filter clogged up. Well, the Yugo drove itself out of the shop, but the clutch is still stuck on. So what I had to do to drive it out of here was put it in reverse and then start it real quick, and she backed out. Now, the question here is, can we repeat that feat? That's reverse for sure, all the way down and to the right. And let's see if we can make this happen. Ah. It wouldn't start again. All right, well, let's get it running. The clutch is just toast on this thing. Does not work. Well, guys, the clutch on the Yugo is unstuck. And it runs pretty well now, right? We can almost get it to completely idle. I was just giving it a little bit of accelerator pump bounce there to make sure it would stay at idle. But the clutch, now that I got the clutch to release, it won't actually go back in. It just sits there and spins. So it's either on or off, and neither one of them let you put it in a gear. So here's the final tally for the Yugo here. I'm gonna hook the mechanical fuel pump all back up because now we're getting plenty of fuel through it. You can see the fuel is gasoline colored now and not dirt brown. So it's even on right now and returning to the tank just the way it should be. The return is clear, all that's been verified. Everything there works really well. The carb could still be cleaned, but fuel system wise, you got fuel all the way to the carb, which is a massive, massive improvement. I actually had to put the vacuum pump on the fuel line right here and pull the biggest vacuum you've ever seen before we got this to all start working again. I just ended up pulling tons and tons and tons of fuel out. It does look like somebody put a new timing belt on there. There's a Gates T018, and it actually looks really good after this thing ran for a couple of minutes, so that's very cool. But yeah, runs on all 4 cylinders, full of coolant, brand new starter. Fuel system works, carb needs cleaned, and the clutch, honestly, it probably could just use a clutch. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Obviously, like everyone has said in the comments, there are tons of parts for these. You can just use Fiat 128 parts, and that works perfectly. But it starts right up instantly now, maybe one tap of the accelerator pump, and she's always ready to rock. So with that said, this thing needed to get out of the garage because it's kind of in the way of everything, and it's really hard to push. So I'm gonna put this back where it belongs outside for now, and that is the update on the Yugo GV. It's a great value. We'll start it up one more time so you guys can see, but one pump of the accelerator pedal there. Look at that thing. If this thing just had a muffler, it would be a complete car ready to rock. So unfortunately, I think we might stop the Yugo right there because this needs just tons of work. The reality is, even though that's just a few things, it's a ton of work, and it will be going on for a very, very long time. And I know that you guys are already done with this because nobody's watching the Yugo anymore. It's actually doing very badly. Everybody loves the Mercedes, the Camaro, and the MR2, but turns out they don't love the Yugo. Now, the thing that we hadn't talked about is the entire factory body kit to turn this into the Yugo GVX, the massively upgraded version with fuel injection. We don't have the fuel injection, but the entire body kit is right here. All OEM, all ready to go on. We have all the bumper supports. We have crazy stuff for this. Here's the airbox. The factory hubcaps, I think, are those, or actually just Yugo logos. And then we have later, like these are GVX hubcaps, I think, the most upgraded ones there were. And then in here we have brand new factory AM/FM stereo cassette player from Yugo and more. I think these are white wheel covers. So all of this is insanely rare stuff right here. It's going to come with headrests, more parts of the body kit, all of the factory lights. It looks like a Yugo magazine there, Yugo GVL. And I think we're putting this thing on Bring a Trailer as a project because we've gotten very, very far, but the reality is the clutch needs freed up or replaced. Not a big job, but not a job that anyone's gonna watch me do at this point. So I think it might be time for the Yugo to move on. On to the $800 Mercedes 190E. Now this is how this thing showed up here. I know I didn't show this to you guys, but we were in a rush to get it off the trailer when the seller was dropping it off. So I saw that this was all destroyed. I've heard this is worth 5 times what the car is. This has dual high pressure pumps in a double stage arrangement here. This is from the tank, goes into the first pump, and then this first pump feeds the second pump, which pumps the pressure up to probably like 80 plus PSI on this old thing, right? And then you've got the fuel filter, and then you've got what looks like a regulator or a check valve or something. Oh, yeah, that's a regulator right back into the pump right there. Interesting. And then you have the supply running up to the front. Now, I just powered these up, and a huge puddle of fuel just poured onto the ground. I assumed they were completely dead, but apparently they are not dead. And the Bosch Jetronic fuel systems like this need racks of fuel pressure. It's like 60 to barely run, 80 to run successfully kind of thing. So that's why they did this dual pump arrangement here. I don't even know where these mount. Apparently it must be under this cover here. Everything's destroyed because it was drug onto the trailer with these hanging down, and then I barely, saved it while it was coming off. But with that said, let's go see why the fuel's dumping out the front, hook up whatever we need to, and hopefully we can make this thing run on its own power, which would be super, super cool. Guys, I sure thought those pumps were dead, which is why somebody had unhooked them. Maybe it was actually a wiring issue, not really sure what's going on there. Obviously they never had the keys for this, so it could have started there. But up here in the front, the return side is the regulator, I think, so this should be the supply. What? Was that just sitting? What on earth? All right, well, don't know, maybe there's a screw missing down there on the bottom too that holds this thing on. But I think if we tighten that up, let me go find a wrench. Hopefully it'll start. Here's a line wrench. It's bigger than I thought. Hey, 17 if you have to work on one of these. That should probably be pretty tight because it's a lot of pressure. Maybe it just wasn't that tight. Now anyway, I say I hope it runs because obviously it started right up on the gas spray bottle when we sprayed it in the intake there, but Jetronic is pretty known for not wanting to come back to life after sitting. You should not let these things sit. If you own one of these, please drive it consistently and you're not gonna run into issues like this. But with that said, I guess I'm gonna crawl under there, hook the jump pack up to the fuel pumps. Hopefully they keep running and we'll try to start it up and maybe we win. Maybe today's the day the Mercedes starts on its own. But maybe we're gonna have to come through here and tap every injector with a hammer till it comes back to life like we did on that old VW Mark 1. All right, we're gonna slide under here. Here's the jump pack. And we know that brown, I looked at the back of the pumps, it says negative on the brown one. Brown is this bottom one here. So if we put that like that, okay, I think we're gonna make this happen without blowing the car up. Override. She's on. Now, no flames, please. Yeah? Oh! Please don't blow up around the fuel pumps. This is gonna be a pain, isn't it? It sounds like it's moving some fuel, but I think we're gonna have to do something else to make sure it stays connected. I know this is too small of a wire gauge, but I also think it's our best option right now. So, here we go. Let's go try to start it. Ooh. Come on, girl, please start, please start. On its own power. Keep running. Keep running, keep running. I know you only have a couple cylinders, but come back to life. Come back to life. Look at this. Old Mercedes things. All right, it doesn't like throttle, not one bit. The problem here is it sounds like it's running on every cylinder. It doesn't sound like there's anything to tap on. I gave all the injectors a tap. We picked up at least one more cylinder here. We're getting closer, guys. Oh! Where did it backfire from? That was a wild backfire. Almost took the hair off my arm. This is crazy. It's running so well, but I don't have enough fuel pressure, I think. Maybe that's the whole problem. Maybe there's not enough fuel pressure. All I know is it's time to shut this thing off and get those pumps unhooked, because that wire I'm using is tiny. Woohoo! It's warm, but it's not melted, so we're gonna give the fuel pumps a break here, and then we'll get back to it. When did this thing sell again? 2010? The sticker's gone, I guess. But if I remember right, it's been 5 years minimum since this thing ran. If we're basing it on the O'Reilly's battery here, at least 6 years. All right, the tiny wire problem is solved. Now I've got like 6 gauge wire running to the pumps there. It's pretty monstrous. And since they're recirculating everything in the fuel system, let's do the thing we're gonna do to fix every fuel system now. Ooh, she's got pressure on it. Let's go. This thing is gonna clean itself up. and it's gonna be a driver here as soon as we get the pumps remounted and figure out the power. I don't know what's going on with the power. 2729, that's interesting. All right, here we go. Let's go start this thing up. Back to life, back to reality. This Benz is gonna drive. Why does it run so well now? Look at that. Everything's gonna work. It is out of gas. That could be part of the problem. I don't think the sensor has anything to do with the pumps on here, so I'm gonna guess that it's legit out of gas. You guys think that it'll go into gear? Look at that! Reverse. Not bad for an $800 Mercedes. It totally runs. It just... I was gonna say doesn't want to come on throttle, and then it did it. I think she just needs a little run time, and this thing is back. And maybe some fresh fuel. Did we even put gas in this? This is antique fuel we're running. Let's give it some fresh fuel. Picked up every cylinder. If we can get the gas light to shut off, we're home free. Still on. It actually just needed keys and put back together. No way. The pumps are still screaming down there. Okay, I don't know why the light's on, because it shows we have tons of fuel now. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong. It's coming up to temp. No, no way. Oh, that window doesn't work. I had moved on to trying windows. That window's broken. No way. Who's ready for the wildest test of all? I know I am. AC on, vents, fan 1. I think the AC is working. It's only on feet, but the air is freezing cold. I'm turning it back off. The fuel light shut off too. We got it. This car is back. Look at this. Sure, I actually believe it's out of washer fluid. We'll get there. We'll get you sorted out, girl. Wow. All right, let's get these pumps turned off and then start figuring out why I got the car so cheap, I guess. Guys, we're gonna finish sorting this out tomorrow. All of the damage this bracket sustained has to be fixed. So I've got to go get some like long Phillips like that. That screw's missing, this screw's missing, and then I gotta come up with some little rubber isolators to rehang this. I've got 2 of them, but I need 2 more. So we'll probably use like little exhaust donuts and get this whole assembly rehung here. And this apparently, I assume, came out of this hole and feeds all the way up in under the back seat. So we also have to get into the back seat and figure out why on earth the power all got ripped out of there. So if nothing else, you know, we'll give it fresh power, but I'm hoping we can reuse all the factory stuff and we just haven't found where it ends yet, but I'm gonna guess somewhere right up in here. With that said, I think we made pretty good progress today. The Yugo runs on its own, even back on the mechanical fuel pump. It starts right up now and runs great. So we got the fuel system back to life, which is something. And this thing runs like an absolute champ. And we should be driving this champ by tomorrow. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop, WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. I'm pretty excited. 2 cars in one day, basically back on the road. I know the Yugo clutch time, it's just going on bring a trailer as is. We can't keep pouring money into the Yugo because I'm scared of how much it might take, because I wanted to fully GVX it. I guess somebody else will have to GVX it, but the Mercedes, what a win. This thing runs so nicely, every cylinder, and as we dumped that fuel in, it was magical, hearing it come back to life. If you didn't know how much of a difference fresh fuel can make, that was it. That was the example of a car coming back to life on really fresh fuel. So cool.